10 tips on what you need to do to lose weight now. Number one, you need to change your mindset. You are no longer dieting. You are embarking on a lifestyle change. Dieting is a temporary thing. Just think about the times that you've gone on a diet, you've lost weight, and then you get off the diet, you go back to your old habits, which was the lifestyle you were living prior to the diet. And what happened? You gained the weight back, plus more. So the first thing you need to do is change that mindset. We are no longer dieting. We are no longer doing the teas. We are no longer doing the MLMs such as Herbalife or Beachbody. No, we're going to make this thing a lifestyle change. When you change your mindset to you are now living a different life, the weight will come off. And not only will the weight come off, but the weight will stay off. Number two, we are going to walk more. The older we get, the less active we become, especially if we have jobs where we're sitting for 8 or 9 hours a day. And we could be sitting really for 10 hours a day, because if you're dealing with traffic, however long it takes you to get to work, you're sitting in a car, and however long it takes you to get back home, you're also sitting in a car, and then you're sitting at work. So we are less active than we were when we were much younger. So we're going to take every opportunity that we can to walk more. Now, walking more, that may be on a treadmill. It may be walking around the neighborhood. It could be walking around the mall, even walking. And I know some people say we're supposed to be boycotting Target, but you may be walking around Target, walking around Walmart, walking around the office. During your breaks, go outside if you can, because I know especially this time of year, it is January 2026. Actually, today I'm recording this on January 1st, 2026. So for some of you, you live in a cold weather climate where it snows, and I'm here in Florida. Today it happens to be cold. Let's see. It's 58 degrees, but the sun is out, as you can see through the window. So, walking outside during your breaks. What we want to do is we want to move more. And the best way to get in some non-exercise activity is to walk. It's really easy. And some of you work in offices where you can buy like a walking pad. Unfortunately for me, my office does not allow walking pads. So during my breaks, I have to walk around the office, outside the office. And also my office is big enough that I can get in some steps in there as well. So the second thing we're going to do is we are going to walk more. The third thing that we are going to do is we're going to add more protein and fresh vegetables in what we eat. And I'm going to say in our diet. Because there's a difference between dieting and diet. Diet is what you eat on a regular basis. So we're going to add more protein and veggies to our diet. Protein, believe it or not, helps us to stay fuller much longer. For those of you that are vegetarians, I'm not a vegetarian. So I'm really not the one to help you with that. I know there is tofu. I don't know how satiating tofu is. And anyway. So yes, more protein helps you to feel fuller longer. More vegetables so you can get in those micronutrients. Micronutrients are so important. So important. Like most Americans, I don't even know if most Americans are taking vitamins, but when you have a well-rounded diet and you're getting in your macronutrients, you really don't need to take vitamins. So we're going to be eating more protein and more vegetables. Now, Number 4, you guys are going to be, well, some of you are going to be surprised what number 4 is. Number 4, we are going to eat more carbohydrates. We're going to eat more carbs. Carbs are a good source of energy. It helps to prevent brain fog. Also, a lot of carbs, good carbs, helps you get in your fiber. And we need fiber. You need to be going to the bathroom. You need to be doing number 2 at least once a day. If you're not doing number 2 once a day, you're not getting in your fiber. Now, you don't want to jump, you don't want to dive head first into increasing your fiber intake, which you will be increasing your carbohydrates. You don't want to do that because you don't want to walk around with a distended tummy and a tummy ache and backed up. So what you want to do is you want to ease in that fiber, high fiber foods such as your oatmeal, high fiber breads, beans. Oh my gosh, let me tell you something. Beans, you really have, if you're not getting in enough fiber, even if you are getting in enough fiber, you want to slowly add beans into your diet because those beans, honey, they will have you miserable. Your stomach will be distended and you will be miserable if you dive headfirst into that. So yes, we are going to eat more carbohydrates for the fiber, for energy, to help prevent brain fog, and to help us gain muscle. Because if you're lifting weights and you're lifting heavy, carbohydrates have a role in helping you to build your muscles as well. Okay? Now, some of you may not like number 5. And as long as I talk about, losing weight and living a healthier lifestyle, I am going to stress number 5. If you like what you're hearing, please hit the subscribe button. Also, click on the like button as well. Thank you. Now, back to what you need to do to start losing weight now. You have to cut back on the alcohol. I'm going to repeat that. You have to cut back on the alcohol. Alcohol is, first of all, it's an empty calorie, and it is a toxin. It does nothing, absolutely nothing for your body. If you have a wearable, like I have this Oura ring, and even now with the Apple Watch, it tracks your sleep. Just, look at your stats from when you're not drinking alcohol and when you are drinking alcohol. You may think you're sleeping better, but you're really not. And I'm not saying give it up completely, but if you're having a glass of wine every night to relax, you have to stop that. Unfortunately, you have to stop that. You're not going to get the results that you want by drinking alcohol. And I know, there's conflicting information about wine and how good it is for you. But what I'm here to tell you, if you have a wearable, look at your stats. Look at the days where you don't drink alcohol and compare that to the days where you have drank alcohol. And you will see a difference. Also, the longer you don't drink alcohol, you will start to feel the difference in your body, in how you feel physically, how you feel mentally, how you handle stress. You will start to see the positive benefits of limiting alcohol. Now, like I said, I'm not saying give it up completely, but if you're drinking that wine, especially if you're drinking 2 glasses of wine or more a night, stop, okay? I drink alcohol, but I may have a drink like once every quarter. It's just something, for me, well, I've never been much of a drinker, so that wasn't something that was hard to stop doing because I never really did it. Number 6, if you are working out with weights, you have to lift heavier, okay? You have to lift heavier. No more 10-pound dumbbells to do bicep curls. Now the 10-pound dumbbells, you may have to use that to do certain shoulder exercises. But when it comes to your large muscles, and especially like I see women doing 5-pound bicep curls, no, stop it. The 20-pound tricep pull downs, stop it. We are here to get stronger and to recomp our bodies. You cannot recomp your body using 10-pound dumbbells, okay? You need to work yourself up to 15, 20, maybe 30 when it comes to bicep curls. When you're working your lower body, you definitely, especially for women, our lower bodies are just super strong. Like we can really push the weight with our lower bodies. Now, if you have some kind of injury with your back or hips or whatever, I'm not a doctor, so do what you can. However, if you can push heavy weight, then you push heavy weight. Now, again, you are going to ease into it. You're not gonna go to the gym tomorrow and start, doing leg presses with 100-pound weight on it. Okay, if you've only been doing leg presses at 50 pounds, okay, so you're going to ease into it. You're going to work your way up. You're going to do progressive overload. We'll talk about progressive overload in another video. But if you want to recomp your body, then you have to lift heavier, okay? Heavy weights. Lifting heavier is what's going to give you the body that you want. And it's just better. Also, as I've said before, when we get older, especially those of you who have kids and you're going to have grandchildren, you want to be able to lift those grandkids up in your 70s, and play with them and do all kinds of stuff. So the best way to make sure you're able to do that is to lift heavy weights. You will not look like a man. Ladies, you are not going to look like a man because you don't have the testosterone. You don't have enough testosterone running through your blood to look like a man, okay? I don't look like a man. Do I look like a man? No. I have curves. No. Now, some of these men right here, anyway, I'll leave that alone. Okay, ladies, this one is for you. Number 7 is for you. For those of you that are married or you have your special someone, your boyfriend, your boo, whatever you want to call him. Your husband, did I say husband? Because husband, boyfriend, boo, whatever. You do not want to work out with them, okay? You don't want to work out with your significant other. And I'm going to tell you why. Men have different goals than women. Men are usually concentrating on their upper body. And you know how I know? Because if you go to the gym on a regular basis, you will see what men focus on the most. And I have a friend who we worked out together for a few weeks. And she normally works out with her husband. And somehow we got on the conversation of, how men work out differently than women. And she mentioned how with her husband, she was working upper body 3 days a week. Ladies, no. Because just no, 3 days a week on the upper body for a woman? No. Most women, I'm gonna be presumptuous and say 99.9% of women are definitely trying to work from the lower body, starting from your abs on down. And doing upper body 3 days a week? No. Doing lower body 3 days a week? Yes. And that is why you do not want to work out with men. Sometimes, and you know that meme about men skipping leg days. So yes, you would no longer work out with your significant other unless your significant other, can, realize what your goals are. But I don't know. I don't think men are into working lower body 3 days a week. I've never seen that. Maybe in the bodybuilding world, but for us regular folks, well, I'd like to consider myself a bodybuilder. But for just a regular lifestyle person, I've never seen a man work lower body 3 days a week. So ladies, do not work out with your man. You all can go to the gym together, but no, when you get to the gym, you go your way and you let him go and work on his chest and arms, okay? All right. Also, how many times have you heard a man say, I want toned legs and a perky butt? I mean, us, yeah. I've never heard a man, a heterosexual man, say that he wants toned legs and a perky butt. That's another reason why you should not be working out with your husband or significant other. Number 8, you want to start tracking your macronutrients. So your macronutrients are your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fats. Now, in the beginning, it can be tedious. I'm not going to deny that at all. It can be tedious, but once you have, your core foods in whatever app it is that you use, I use MyFitnessPal, it becomes really, really easy. And you have to know how much you're eating to lose weight. If you don't know how many calories you're intaking, you're just out there blowing in the wind, doing whatever. You have no clue. And the reason why you need to know, because you're not doing the teas. You're not doing the Herbalife. You're not doing the Beachbody. You're doing the lifestyle change. So with this lifestyle change comes different habits. So now we need to get in the habit of tracking our macros. And that may include purchasing a food scale. They're really, really cheap. You can get it at Target or Walmart. And you will start to see a difference, once you start tracking your macros. You may see, depending on your diet history and how much weight you have to lose, once you start tracking your macros, you might see, a huge difference within a week. So tracking your macros is very important because you need to know whether or not you're under eating or you're overeating, okay? All right, we'll talk about under eating and overeating in another video, okay? Okay, number 9, we are going to focus on the non-scale victory. The scale is a good tool, just like the food scale is a good tool, and just like the food apps like MyFitnessPal or I guess weight loss. What is the name of that? Oh my goodness. Anyway, I can't think of the name of it, but they've been around for ages. My mom used to do them. Weight Watchers. So I guess they have that, but we're not doing Weight Watchers. But Weight Watchers is not so bad. Anyway, I'm getting off point. So non-scale victories. Your non-scale victories are going to be how you feel physically on the, do you have more energy? Are you thinking more clearly? How do your clothes fit? What are your coworkers and your family members, what are they saying about your appearance? Also, non-scale victories can include, you started off with the 10-pound dumbbells for bicep curls, and now you're up to 15, 20 pounds. Those are also non-scale victories. If you're squatting, maybe you just started with a bar, which is 45 pounds, and now you've added, 20 pounds to the plate. That is also a non-scale victory. Your skin clearing up, your hair, You may see the non-scale victory in your hair, in your nails, because the more hair, nails, and skin need the protein. Yes, hair, nails, and skin need protein. You start increasing your protein intake, you will see a difference in your nails. Are they stronger? Is your hair growing? Is it, So now we're looking at the non-scale victories, okay? And number 10, we are now going to look at the joy of doing something that is difficult. In the beginning, changing your lifestyle, making a change, it is not easy. It can be a difficult process, especially if you're used to doing extreme diets. If you were relying on 500 calories or doing the Herbalives and the Beach Bodies. Now that you're making a conscious effort to eat more than 1,200 calories, to not take weight loss pills or drinking weight loss teas, it can be difficult. And I'm the first one to acknowledge the difficulty in changing a lifestyle. But what I want you to see is the joy in accomplishing your goal in a sustainable manner. Because what you're doing is what you're going to do from here until your last days on this earth, okay? Lifting heavy weights isn't easy. Doing cardio isn't easy. Finding time to work out, to train, to prepare your meals. None of that is easy. Even for someone like me, I have been struggling with trying to find a good time for me to go to the gym. Everything last year, 2025, was a mess. So I've been, I started a new job in an office. So I was doing cardio in the morning, going to the gym after work. So then I changed it to going to the gym before work and doing cardio when I got home. Now I'm doing cardio at home after I get off work, but I'm going to the gym 2 days during the week and then Saturday and Sunday. And so far that seems to be working. So finding the joy in doing something hard, realizing, okay, I have now found something that works for my schedule. That is an accomplishment, and it makes me happy because I did not give up. I did not stop going to the gym because it was harder to get there, okay? And as a bonus, well, not really a bonus, I won't call it a bonus, but something that we all need to be doing, and that is drinking more water to hydrate ourselves. So many of us are walking on this earth dehydrated and we don't even know it. Start drinking more water. You will notice when I mentioned about the protein and your nails and your hair, water also. Water will help to prevent constipation when you up your fiber intake by eating more carbs. It will help to also clear up your skin. And it's just good. You need to hydrate. And the best way to hydrate is to drink more water. So those are just a few things that you need to do to lose weight.